Every day, you meet people who talk big, act confident, and present a version of themselves they want the world to believe. But real character isn't revealed in the spotlight. It shows up in the shadows, in the small behaviors most people overlook. If you want to protect your energy, elevate your circle, and build a stronger life, you only need to notice 5 things. These 5 things will expose the truth behind anyone's character. When you truly want to understand someone's heart, the fastest way isn't through their words, their confidence, or their charm. It's through how they treat the people who have absolutely nothing to offer them. This is where the truth lies. This is where the mask slips. Because anyone can be polite when it benefits them. Anyone can act patient when they're being watched. But the real test, the one that never lies, is how they behave toward the ones society often overlooks. When a person interacts with someone who can't elevate their status, can't give them access, can't provide validation, and can't offer anything in return, the most honest version of them steps forward. You're seeing their nature without the filters and without the performance. That is why this single observation can tell you more about a person than months of conversation. Think about the times you've seen people talk down to a waiter, act irritated with a cleaner, dismiss a cashier, or belittle someone in a position they consider lower. In those small moments, they reveal the truth about themselves. That isn't confidence. That isn't strength. That is insecurity dressed as superiority. It is the behavior of someone who feels small inside and tries to make themselves bigger by making someone else feel smaller. A person who truly has power doesn't need to show it off. Someone who truly respects themselves doesn't need to disrespect others to feel important. Kindness and humility are signs of inner stability, not weakness. When you see someone consistently treat every human being with dignity, no matter their title, income, or level of influence, you're looking at someone who lives with real integrity. It's easy to be generous when generosity is admired. It's easy to be respectful when respect benefits you. But character is revealed in the quiet moments where no one is keeping score. When someone says, "Thank you," to the janitor, smiles at the delivery driver, or speaks gently to someone who is struggling, that simple act carries the weight of genuine humanity. These are the traits of people who create healthy environments, strong relationships, and meaningful connections. They lift others because they aren't threatened by others. They give because giving aligns with who they are, not with what they gain. This is also why the most emotionally intelligent people protect themselves from those who treat others like tools. When someone uses kindness as a transaction, be careful. When someone's respect rises and falls depending on what they want, observe closely. Because if they can be cruel to someone else today, they can be cruel to you tomorrow. If they can ignore someone they don't need, they'll ignore you the moment you stop being convenient. When a person's warmth depends only on usefulness, that is not warmth, it's strategy. And strategies change as soon as the benefit disappears. You want people in your life who are consistent, not conditional. People who show the same level of kindness to a CEO and a cleaner. People who treat strangers with the same respect they show friends. People who do the right thing even when no one is clapping for them. The truth is, individuals who practice this type of consistent kindness create stronger relationships, attract better opportunities, and build a life rooted in trust. These are the people you want by your side when life gets difficult, because they won't abandon you when circumstances shift. So the next time you want to judge someone's character, don't analyze their words. Don't get fooled by their confidence. Don't be impressed by the version of themselves they project. Watch how they treat those who cannot help them. Watch how they speak to the people society often ignores. Those small interactions will tell you everything about their values, their empathy, and their capacity to love, support, and grow. When you understand this, you'll never again underestimate the power of observing the little moments, because those little moments reveal the biggest truths. Pressure is the revealing force that strips away pretense and exposes who a person truly is. When life is smooth, it's easy for anyone to appear patient, composed, and generous. There's no resistance, no friction, no challenge. But the moment pressure arrives, when plans break, when expectations collapse, when something inconvenient interrupts their comfort, that is when the real character steps forward. Pressure doesn't create flaws, it exposes them. It doesn't create strength, it reveals it. And if you want to evaluate someone's authenticity, don't study who they are in calm waters. Watch who they become in the storm. When a person is under pressure, the truth about their emotional maturity becomes undeniable. Some individuals fall into anger the moment something goes wrong. They lash out, blame others, raise their voice, or shut down completely, They treat pressure as an enemy threatening their ego. Their reaction isn't about the situation. It's about their inability to regulate themselves. When you observe them carefully, you see that pressure magnifies what they haven't healed. It exposes their impatience, their insecurities, or their fear of losing control. And no matter how charming they may seem in peaceful moments, pressure reveals a side they can't hide. On the other hand, there are people who transform under pressure. They don't panic, they pause, they don't attack, they analyze. Instead of letting stress make them reactive, they become more focused, more intentional, and more grounded. Pressure doesn't push them into chaos, it forces them into clarity. These are the people who understand that life's challenges are not punishments, but checkpoints. They know that pressure can break you or build you depending on how you respond. So instead of collapsing, they rise. Instead of blaming, they take ownership. Instead of running, they face the discomfort head on. That response isn't an accident. It's a reflection of discipline, resilience, and emotional intelligence. Pressure also reveals whether someone is capable of being dependable when circumstances are no longer convenient. It's easy to be loyal, kind, and supportive when things are going your way. But when stress hits, some people withdraw, become unpredictable, or even turn against the very people who once supported them. Pay attention to how someone treats you when they're overwhelmed. Do they take their stress out on you, or do they communicate? Do they shut you out, or do they stay accountable? Do they start blaming everyone around them, or do they step up? These behaviors reveal who can walk with you in real life. Not just in the easy chapters, but in the difficult ones too. There's also something powerful about how pressure exposes priorities. When someone is under stress, their real values emerge. If they choose honesty, even when lying would be easier, you're looking at integrity. If they choose to help someone even when they're busy, you're seeing compassion. If they choose patience even when everything inside them wants to explode, you're witnessing true emotional strength. But if they abandon their principles the moment life gets tough, then understand this: those principles were never real. They were conveniences, not commitments. So the next time you want to understand someone deeply, don't focus on their behavior when the sun is shining. Focus on how they respond when the storm hits. Watch how they react when they receive bad news, when things don't go their way, or when they're frustrated. Observe whether they grow calmer or more chaotic, whether they focus or fall apart, whether they stay kind or become hostile. These moments reveal the truth you can trust, not the performance they show the world. Pressure is the mirror that shows who someone genuinely is. It uncovers strength, weakness, patience, instability, wisdom, or immaturity. And once you learn to read these moments, you'll never again misjudge someone's character. Because in pressure, the truth becomes impossible to hide. A person's character becomes unmistakably clear when you observe how they handle responsibility, honesty, and commitment. These three qualities form the backbone of trust, and without them, no relationship, personal or professional, can survive. Responsibility reveals maturity. Honesty shows integrity. Commitment exposes reliability. Together, they show you who someone truly is beneath their charm, their confidence, and their carefully curated image. Because at the end of the day, words are cheap, promises are easy, but consistent action is the only truth that cannot be disguised. Responsibility is the first and most powerful indicator. Watch how someone reacts when something goes wrong. Do they take ownership, or do they immediately look for someone to blame? Do they admit their part in the problem, or do they act like a victim of circumstances? People who avoid responsibility always shift the narrative. They deflect, deny, and defend. They twist facts to protect their ego, not to solve the issue. And this behavior is not a one-time accident, it's a pattern. If someone runs from accountability in small situations, they will run even faster in bigger ones. On the other hand, a person who takes responsibility, even when it's uncomfortable, is someone who values growth over pride. They understand that acknowledging mistakes is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. You can trust someone who owns their actions because they are honest enough to grow and humble enough to improve. Honesty is the second filter, and it's a powerful one. Truth doesn't require performance, manipulation, or strategy. It simply requires courage. If someone casually lies about minor things, you can be certain those lies will grow when the situation becomes serious. Dishonesty always expands. It starts with small distortions. Small excuses, small omissions, but eventually it becomes betrayal, manipulation, and broken trust. You must pay attention to the little lies, because those are the seeds of bigger deception. A person who is honest consistently, even when the truth is inconvenient, even when it risks consequences, is showing you that they choose integrity over image. These people are rare, and they are worth keeping. When someone's words match their actions, when they communicate openly, when they speak truth without needing to be cornered, you know you're dealing with someone who respects you enough to be real. Commitment is the final measure, and it is often the one people ignore the most. Commitment isn't about grand promises made in moments of inspiration. It's about the quiet, unexciting follow-through. It's about showing up long after the initial motivation fades. Most people can commit when it feels good, when it's easy, or when it earns them appreciation. But commitment reveals itself when things stop being easy, when the goal becomes tiring, when the relationship demands effort, when the project requires discipline. If someone stays consistent through the difficult moments, you're seeing a person with true reliability. But if someone disappears as soon as the excitement fades, you're dealing with someone who values convenience over loyalty. And convenience never builds anything lasting. Responsibility, honesty, and commitment work together to paint a complete picture of a person's character. If someone takes ownership of their actions, speaks with truth, and follows through on what they start, you can trust them. You can build with them. You can depend on them. But if they avoid accountability, twist the truth, and break commitments, their actions are telling you exactly who they are, even if their words say something different. It is your job to listen to their behavior, not their excuses. So when evaluating someone's role in your life, observe these three qualities carefully. Do they take responsibility without being forced? Are they honest even when lying would be easier? Do they stay committed when things get difficult? The answers to these questions will reveal more about their character than anything they tell you verbally. And once you learn to recognize these patterns, you'll no longer be confused, misled, or surprised by people's behavior, because the truth is always visible in the way they handle responsibility, honesty, and commitment.